Promises in the storm. The rain was beating against the windshield furiously as Claire drove at full speed down the empty highway. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel. Her heart beat strongly, and his mind repeated the words he had heard a few hours before. "I'm sorry, Claire, but I love someone else." He never thought that Ryan, the man with whom he had shared 5 years of his life, he would look her in the eyes and break her heart with such coldness. The pain choked her, but she wasn't going to stay crying in her apartment, surrounded by photos of a love that no longer existed. So he took the car and drove aimlessly, trying to escape the suffering that consumed him inside. But fate had other plans. The lights of a car suddenly appeared in the mirror. I saw the rearview mirror. They were approaching too fast. Before I could react, I felt a strong impact on the rear of my car. The world spun, the tires skidded on the wet asphalt, and your body shook violently when the vehicle crashed into a tree. Everything went black. An unexpected encounter. When Claire woke up, she was in an unknown room, with the sound of the rain hitting the window. His head throbbed with pain, and when he tried to move, a groan escaped his lips. "Don't exert yourself too much." He turned his head and saw a man sitting on a high, sat beside the bed. Tall, with dark hair and serious eyes, he observed her with a mixture of curiosity and concern. "Who are you?" she murmured. "Ethan, I found you unconscious on the road. I brought you here. I live in a cabin near the woods." Claire frowned, trying to remember what had happened. The accident? There was no one when I arrived. Only you and the wrecked car. Oh? Claire's mind tried to process everything. Who had hit her? Why had they left her there? Ethan got up and offered her a glass of water. "You should rest." Claire looked at him cautiously. I didn't know him, but there was something in his gaze that made her feel safe. "Thank you for helping me." Ethan only nodded. He didn't know that that encounter would change his life forever. When the wounds. Sanan. The days passed, and as Claire recovered, she discovered that Ethan was not a simple stranger. He also had wounds in his heart. He had lost his fiancée years ago in an accident, and since then he lived alone, avoiding the world. Sometimes pain makes us flee from everything he said one night, while they shared a glass of wine in front of the fireplace. Claire looked him in the eyes, and I saw something in him, something that reflected his own suffering. "Perhaps, instead of fleeing, we should find reasons to stay," she whispered. Ethan observed her silently, and at that moment, they knew that something was changing between them. The past always returns. Just when Claire began to feel that her heart could heal, the past returned like a storm. One morning, while he was walking through the forest, he saw a car parked on the road. His heart stopped when he recognized the person who got out of it. Ryan. "Claire!" He ran towards her desperately. I'm touching you everywhere." She stepped back, feeling the wound in her chest open again. "What are you doing here?" Ryan took her hand forcefully. "I was wrong. The woman I was with, V, means nothing. You are the only one I love." The words I had once dreamed of hearing now sounded empty. He looked towards the cabin and saw Ethan in the distance, watching them with a furrowed brow. Encido. Her heart was divided. Ryan had been her everything, but he had also destroyed her. And Ethan was her refuge, her second chance. Tears filled her eyes. "Claire, please, or come back with me." She took a trembling breath. It was time to decide between the love that had hurt her and the love that made her feel alive again. End.